tell us where you're from, your upbringing, and what got you into becoming an artist.
My parents, my dad's from Chicago and mom's from New Jersey.
Okay.
They met on the BART train, and my dad was carrying around a box of donuts. Was actually engaged to another woman. Don't tell anybody that. Sorry, Pops. But my mom started flirting with him, and then he realized he was making a mistake and kind of switched teams. And then I came along shortly after. So I was born in Oakland, Samuel Merritt Hospital. And we bounced around like kind of Hayward, Oakland, San Leandro, early part of my life. Eventually got to move over the hill to like San Ramon, Danville area. And then I went to high school at De La Salle, played soccer. And then moved down to San Diego after that. And things got a little crazy at that point, but another story for another day.
Okay. Tell us. Well, actually, you didn't answer the one of the questions, which is how did you become an artist?
Oh.
What inspired you? Who are some of your influences?
Okay. So yeah, I liked a lot of different music. When I was a kid, we used to dance around in like the living room to like little kid groups. Another Bad Creation, like even just like corny stuff. We loved Run DMC though, like and things like that. And we do little rap routines, but I like the Doors, and I liked poets especially, and so I wrote a lot of poetry. And as I was telling you earlier today, one day a friend of mine snatched my poetry book and then realized that I could rap, but like I didn't really want to put it out there yet. And then he found poems about my girlfriends and stuff like that, which got semi-embarrassing. But I just always kind of had like a good like mind for like hearing melodies and coming up with like clever words, and I like to read, so I think just my natural inclination to want to read as I was young, and just a love for like literature and words and text and like rich ways of explaining things drew me to music somehow.
So you're very good with your words.
I like to say I'm a lyricist. I don't really like MC, I like more of that connotation. There's nothing wrong with the word rapper, like rapper's great, but I feel like it's like more like black belt disciplined level, I don't want to just be a rapper, like I want to be a skilled rapper, which I feel like is a lyricist or an MC, you know what I mean?
So you told me earlier about martial arts. How do you relate that with your music?
Like the discipline to the worldview. So kind of as we talked about before, I like just the repetition, and then humbling yourself to learn from somebody who's a master of something, and saying I don't know something, and letting them teach you things and mold you, and accepting these new ideas and learning from people who are better than you, and then also just like learning how to overcome adversity, like and get out of bad positions and bad things. And I think like the martial arts that I enjoy are like Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, where you're actually sparring live. It's not so much like traditional karate. Not that I'm like trying to knock that, but arts where you're actually physically engaging in combat with pads and headgear on or sometimes off, whatever. But you're physically engaging in combat and really learning how to fight, not just doing pre-practiced and pre-rehearsed routines. You need to know how to work your way out of things and work to figure out how it works for a tall guy or a short guy or a fast guy or a guy that's pacing around to your left or right or southpaw or or a guy who likes elbows or knees. All these things change things. There's variations in it. So I think if you apply that to music, the ability to adapt rapidly and like synthesize information and find a dynamic way to attack it and like put something back and get output back, like it's just a beautiful thing. So I think like martial arts and music meld together just really nicely, they're meant to go together. Like weed and music. It's kind of the same thing.
Right.
It's like marriage.
That is true. True. Can you tell us about what some of your past projects and also what you currently working on right now?
For sure. So I started off like kind of in a couple of dysfunctional hip hop groups, and I like to call them like they're like dysfunctional marriages. So you really want them to work, but you keep going back for more, and you get a little beat up, but like you want it to go down, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And then you got to know when to walk away. And it's tough. But then I've been in like good hip hop groups. When I really hit my stride, like Fort Knox was an early group. Probably like in 2012 we formed it, and then through 2014, 2016, we were touring all over. And it was me and another MC named High Sun and a DJ producer named Burbs. So just 3 people, not a lot of like talking heads. And we toured a lot. Like I said, it was a great experience. And then after that, I dropped a solo album called Left Coast Gems. And I had a lot of great MCs on there because the Fort Knox experience opened doors. Mitchie Slick, Scarab from Living Legends, Yuckmouth from the Loonies, Main Flow from Mood, Talib Kweli's camp. So that was good, you know, and I got to see how a lot of, you know, platinum to very successful artists worked and what the processes were. Mitchie Slick came to my house and recorded in my house with me when I had my little studio set up in LA, which was neat. And he sat me down and he said, play every other song on your album. And so he sat there and listened to all the songs. He said, we need to make something different from all those songs that stands out. Mm-hmm. I love that. Like, dude, that's fucking dope, right? Like,
right.
Not every feature MC or feature artist that's, you know, like a guy like that, Strong Arm Steady, been on Stone's Throw Records, you know, like the El Capitan of San Diego, and like the whole music scene down there. He took the time to listen to the songs and wanted to make something special, and so that was really neat watching how he selected the beats out of the beats that I presented him, and how he wanted to do the hook, so I let him do the hook, and then he dropped his verse, and then I put mine in after. So he just almost even crafted the whole song for me, even though it was my song, but because he cared, you know,
right.
and he wants his sound to sound sharp, and I'm that way now too. Like, if I do a feature verse for somebody, I take it seriously. I don't like half-ass a verse and just do it just to get it done. Mm-hmm. You know, I call those verse licks. MCs call them verse licks. You don't just take someone's money and fucking grab it and just kick a verse out to get their money, man. That's your reputation on the line every time. Like, you better make sure your shit is snapping. If not, then I'm coming for you, fucking personally.
Like that.
Yeah, there's slicers and dicers out here. You know, they care.
Yeah.
And so you might be fly for now, but in the long run, in the longevity, that tortoise might move by the hair at the end. So watch out.
Right. So no shortcuts.
Yep. No shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
No. On the staircase to greatness, there are, yeah. Yep, you gotta fight.
Right, it's a journey.
Level up.
Right.
The right way.
The right way.
The right way.
I like that. I like that. So, do you have any other lanes that you want to speak about?
You know, like, I like to tell everybody, I think it's an interesting time as this is the 420 issue of All Bay and everything. And a lot of people have felt divided, like, through the coronavirus and things leading up to it. But like, when the day 420 comes around, you know, it doesn't really, like, it's just another day where like potheads kind of get together. But if you think about it, hip hop music especially has united like so many different ethnicities and so many different people like come together and enjoy it and love it. And I know like there are the shootings and things like that, but all in all, it's really been a great uniter of people. And then marijuana always has, and weed has always been a great uniter. When you put those two together, like, think about how great hip hop is and weed is, and like how many people you've met because of those two things when you're celebrating your 420 this year. And think about all the artists and like the weed growers and the, you know, the people you've met over the years that like you shared a joint with that you probably would have never known, and you guys came to some understanding. Like, that's the real magic around all of this. And
right.
And I think even me and like humanity, like that's the type of stuff that I want to promote and put out, is like we can all find understandings within each other if we sit down and share. You know, maybe you like to share a glass of wine, or you like to drink some sambuca, like my Italian peoples, or maybe you like to, you know, just slam some whiskey, or you whatever you do. But break bread with people and like get to know them, you know. And like we don't need to be jumping off on each other so much, like as sharing amongst each other and like trying to come to like mutual understandings. Like that's the right way to go.
Right.
You know.
It's about the connection that we have. It's the connection that we make.
No doubt.
With each other.
Yeah.
Definitely. Without judging at first.
Yep.
Okay.
And we all do it sometimes.
We do.
Accidentally or maybe even intentionally, but like, yeah.
That's the human nature that we...
It is.
Yeah.
But we work against it hard, you know. Hopefully, like, those of us that have seen it, try to tell people that maybe aren't seeing that slice of light, you know, bring them to the light. Try to break it down and help them out.
Yeah, you gotta be humble.
Yeah,
Right?
we gotta help each other.
Yes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
That's a tricky question. If I could have it the best ever, like, man, I would own a casino.
Hey.
Like an MGM type of conglomerate, you know, like be heading something up like that. I've always wanted to, like, when they asked me when I was a kid, so what do you want to be when you grow up? So fireman and, like, you know, plumber, like, you know, another kid says whatever. They asked me, I want to own a casino. Like, I think it's my Italian upbringing and my uncles, but they're like, why? You know, I had the same answer like Dillinger when he robbed the banks, because that's where the money is, and it's not like I want to take money from people, but I've always been fascinated by games of chance, and like I like to gamble. I play craps, play poker, stuff like that. I like that a small guy at the right day at the right time can swing the odds in the right favor and do some, you know, pretty amazing things. But I've always wanted to have like some type of ownership thing in like the gaming industry, so if I could ever use music or something to get into that lane, like I think that would be a good way to I just see like gambling's expanding. Like now they're putting sports gambling like all over, and the poker sites are about to legalize everywhere, and the Indian casino, like the Native American tribes really like were smart about capitalizing on their land and using, you know, the U.S. government gave them pretty shitty pieces of land out in the middle of nowhere all over the place, and they turned those things into casinos and, you know, got it cracking and made a lot of money, and I respect that. And like yeah, if I could somehow get into that in 5 years from now, I feel pretty fucking good.
Nothing is impossible.
No.
Do you have any last words or shout outs you want to give?
Well, first of all, like, appreciate Ian, Albany Music, you know, Sabina, team.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm excited for the future coming up. Hockey Mask and Body Shots Part 2 is coming out May 14th. I got a single coming out, 420. It's called Medicated with Piff Habanero. And me and Piff Habanero have an album coming out June 11th called Summer, which is basically like a Nate Dogg, kind of Warren G-ish kind of album. It's only 7 songs. They're all just groovers, like shit you can play around your barbecue and you're cruising in your car or smoking. Like, if you're trying to get some weed, you got your weed, or where you're going to do the weed, you're like, we got you covered. That album's going to have you feeling real good. So it's a mover for the summer. But yeah, I'm excited for the future. Looking forward to working with All Band Empire, and I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, last question.
All right, one more.
Where can we find you on social media?
Well, on Instagram, I'm MRJUSE. So I don't spell my name Juice, Juice. Nah. It's J-U, crooked letter E, J-U-S-E. Mr. J-U-S-E _ and then Fort Knox, FORTKNOCKS. I don't really mess with Facebook. I divorced Facebook about 5-6 years ago. But I am on Twitter under just Mr. Juice, that MRJUSE. And most domains I do have Mr. Juice locked down, but the guy on Instagram, I'm messaging him a million times and he won't budge off the name. I've offered him money. So if you want to go on his page, people DM him and tell him to relinquish the name to the real Mr. Juice. Like, I'd appreciate that shit. Put a little pressure on him, Italian style, you know? Let him know. Many blessings will come to him, or maybe we have to make him an offer he can't refuse one day. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do it. Do it.
All right, that's a wrap.
Don't do it.
So let's end this. So